Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Bree. Today I have a lot to inform you guys on. There's been a lot going on here in my garden in the last week. First, some unfortunate news. I have to inform you guys that one of my waterlogged plants that I showed you guys last week isn't necessarily doing too well. Here is the current state of it. There has been some new growth, but the pot is just not well draining. I'm sure you can see by the base here just how wet that soil is. We went ahead and took all the soil out of this pot, put some rocks in the bottom because even with drilling like 6 holes, it still wasn't draining enough. So now I'm going to plant this plant back in the pot, but I'm also going to plant it further down now that it's grown a bit. So I believe I've discussed this once, but if you plant your tomato plant about that far into the ground, all of this will create roots. This one was planted when that one was planted, and I'm sure you can see that one looks a lot better than this one. Now that we got that transplanted, I'm going to prune a little bit off of it. I need to do a little bit on some of my other tomatoes too, so I figured I'd show you guys what I do for pruning on my tomatoes. One thing especially for tomatoes that I like to make sure is that there's no leaves hitting the soil, and now that we planted this deep enough, we really also don't need this leaf. So let's go ahead and prune that. Another area that we need to prune is these little areas right here. Whenever you see growth coming out of the armpit areas of the main stem, you want to prune those off. That will help with your plant getting better airflow and also better produce. One thing I would like to add is that these are actually called suckers, and when you prune these off of your tomato plant, you can actually propagate that. What it means is you can get a whole new tomato plant just from putting this in some soil or putting it in some water and rooting it and just letting it grow. So it's the gift that keeps on giving. Now for the exciting part, I'm going to show you guys the 2 additions to the garden that my husband built me this week. The first one is right behind me. We have this little hoop house here, and let me put you guys on the ground so I can show you what it does. So we are not fully done with this yet. We still have to add the insect netting, and then over winter time, we're going to replace the insect netting with solar plastic to create more of a greenhouse in here to where I can plant lettuce and all those different cold crops year round. I already undid these hooks here. This whole frame lifts up to where if I have to prune, harvest, you name it, I can easily just lift up. Then that way I'm free to be able to do whatever I want to do without dealing with the plastic or the netting or anything like that. And then when I'm done, I can just simply put it back down. Now for what I'm really excited about, my cattle panel trellis. So I originally saw this concept on Roots of Refuge Farm. I will link their channel down below. It's a really nice, cheap, easy, very sturdy option. Let me back up and kind of show you it from a further angle. This is a 16-foot cattle panel, which was only $20. And then each stake here was, I think, maybe $3-4 a piece. So again, super easy, cheap option. I got a few more things to show you because last week I also told you I thought my spinach was probably close to being done. It is. We are starting to bolt, and if you don't know what bolting is, that is this. That is when the plant starts to go to seed. You can also tell the color of the leaves just aren't as dark. Like that's a really pretty spinach leaf, which I knew this time was coming. Another thing I wanted to show you guys was the onions that we all planted together at the beginning of the season. I believe this was probably 5 or 6 weeks ago now that I did this. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I had an onion that sprouted and I decided that I was gonna go ahead and plant it because I read that you could do that. It's kind of a little experiment that I had going on. Well, after, again, I think 5-6 weeks, these started to flower, these 3 here, these big ones, and they started to bolt. So since I figured you've been along this journey with me in this little experiment, I would pull one up and we could see if it got big or if it didn't get big. That's a big, fat negative. Hopefully we'll see if these ones make any difference, but this one just got some really good roots and decided it was done. Well, that was disappointing, but since we're over here at this garden bed, I should show you guys the beans because the beans are looking real good. So a week ago, I showed you that there was a bunch of different gaps. These have grown this much in literally 7 days. Like that is insane to me. As I was showing you guys the beans, I noticed we had a little visitor. All right, everyone, that's going to do it for today's video. If you would like to support my channel, please leave me a comment below, give this video a thumbs up, or hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys all next time. Bye.